Dear students, I am Dr. Kiran Deshwal, Assistant Professor English. In this video lecture, I will teach you the poem Autumn, composed by James Thomson. Let us have an introduction of the poet and the poem before beginning the poem. James Thomson was the son of the Scots clergyman Thomas Thomson and Beatrix Trotter Thomson of Berwickshire. Thomson was born on September 11, 1700 in Antrim, Scotland, a few miles north of the river Tweed, which marks the Scots-English boundary. On this poor, isolated, hilly territory, country people sketched out bare livings. So, this poet belongs to a village nearby hills. Critics eager to spy out biological influences on the seasons. His great work, the long poem, The Seasons. On this poem, we see autobiographical influences have found the gods to the Thompson's pictorial imagination in this broader landscape, with its slopes and streams, skies heavy with clouds. All this is natural scenery which he himself visualized around his native place. Clouds above the moors and the constant play of light upon natural objects in such a changeable, assertive climate. Thompson's own family was large. He was the fourth of ninth. He was the son of clergyman and that of a clergyman father and a mother whose devotional exercise, according to Patrick Murdoch, were raised by her warm imagination to a pitch bordering on enthusiasm, gave him intimate knowledge of the Bible. So, in Thompson's poetry, we find biblical references and natural landscape. So, natural landscape is because he lived there, and biblical references because his mother was a religious woman. The prime source of literary sublimity in the 18th century. Again, one can fancy that his early life was grist for the seasons. So, in Seasons, we found the glimpses of his early life, of his childhood, in which love and family take on a rosy gleam and where God in his majesty pervades the text. As to his later life, as opposed to his poetry, he left the wild scenery of Scotland for London street. Later on, he shifted to London, never married. He remained bachelor for the whole life, or raised a family himself, and though he remained a profoundly religious man, lapsed from his Christian faith. Let us have some introduction of this poem, Autumn. The poem Autumn is an extract from his longer poem, The Seasons. The Seasons is a series of four poems written by Scottish author James Thomson. The first part is called Winter. It was published in 1726, and the completed poem cycle appeared in 1730. The poem was extremely influential and stimulated works by John Christopher Smith, Joseph Haydn, Thomas Gainsborough, and J. M. W. Turner, among many others. Thomson was educated first at the Paris School of South Dean, then at Zedburgh Grammar School and Edinburgh University, where he was a member of the Grotesque Literary Club. Some of his early poems were published in the Edinburgh Miscellany of 1720. Seeking a larger stage, he went to London in 1725 and became the tutor of Thomas Hamilton, who became the seventh Earl of Haddington in Barnet. There he was able to begin Winter, the first of his four seasons. So the longer poem, The Seasons, is divided into four parts. It talks about four seasons: winter, summer, autumn, and spring. Blank verse had been considered more of an interesting toy than anything useful to poetry, despite John Milton's epic spell Paradise Lost and Paradise Regained half a century earlier. The poem was published one season at a time, winter in 1726. Then he wrote about summer in 1727. Then he wrote on spring in 1728. And at last he wrote about autumn only in the complete edition of 1730. So he started from winter, then summer, then spring, and then autumn. At last, finally, he writes about autumn, and in this poem, we will read autumn. Thomson borrowed Milton's Latin influenced vocab and inverted word order with phrases like in convolution swift. He extended Milton's narrative use of blank verse. So, in this poem, he has used blank verse to use it for description and to give a meditative feeling. To give his poem a meditative feeling, he used blank verse. The critic Raymond Dexter Havens called Thomson's style pompous and contorted, remarking that Thomson seemed to have avoided calling things by their right names and speaking simply, directly, and naturally. So, a poetry should be direct, simple, and natural, but Thompson Thompson's poem lacks all these. That's why Dexter has said so, that it is pompous. And in this poem, we will see the season autumn. Thompson has described autumn season in this poem: the nights of autumn season, the evenings of autumn season, the mornings of autumn season. As it was customary at that time, this poem was written in pre-romantic era, and in pre-romantic era we have a glimpse of, though there is natural landscape, but the poetry is embellished with personification and combined words, compound words, phrases, and things like that. So in this poem also there is a lot of decoration with figure of speech, but this poem also gives the description of beautiful landscape. We can visualize the whole autumn season in this poem, and along with the natural phenomena of autumn season, this poem also depicts the philosophy of life, how autumn comes in a man's life and how it affects his or affects the life of the poem. So we will see the line by line analysis in our next video. Thanks for watching.